welcome. There's been something that's been on my mind for a while, and I hope it can be encouraging. But I do want to preface it with saying that I'm not perfect at it myself, that is for sure. But it's something that I want to practice and that I'm trying to actively practice, and I'm trying to make sure that it's in my mind constantly. I want to do better at that, and I want it to be constantly in my mind. And I want to be aware of it, because that's how I think we grow and we work on things, is to be aware of them and have them in our mind. But essentially it is to learn to be content regardless of what we have or where we're at or what's happening, and being aware that what we think we want, what we think will make us the happiest, may not make us happy long term. We may think that we want this one thing and this one thing will make us happy, but more often than not, if we haven't learned to master or be proficient, I don't think we have to master it. I mean, at least I hope not, because mastering something completely can be difficult to truly master something. But be proficient at something, to be aware of it and practice it, I think is a different story. I think we can all get there sooner than we think, is my hope. But if we haven't learned to be content with where we're at now, we may not be content or happy when we get what we thought we wanted, what we thought would make us super content. And I have like a little story. This is years ago, very, very long ago. And I remember that I was still living in Connecticut, and I was just starting out with music, making music. And I remember I really, really, really wanted my music to, I wanted people to enjoy my music. And I wanted to get really good at music. And I remember that there is this brother, and if you're watching, shalom to you, much love to you. I don't think I've heard from this brother in a long time. I don't know him very well or personally, which is what made it more meaningful to me. Is I guess he had like a Torah radio show, and like he played my song in the intro, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. That's amazing. Like at the time, it was just like, wow, that's amazing. I don't know who this person is, but they liked the song that much that they put it on the intro. That's amazing. That's really cool. I felt so happy, so honored, so touched by that. And on top of that, the brother, Yahusha Prentice, was allowing me to stay with him for a while because I wanted to move to a different state, to be close to them, because, we spent Passover together, and it was a great time. And I wanted to be closer to siblings, because at the time I lived by myself in Connecticut. I didn't really have much in-person fellowship, so I wanted to move to Ohio to be closer to them. And it was the best decision I've ever made in my life. I do not regret it. It's been about almost 3 years since I've made that move, and it's been great, and I am so thankful for it. But what's interesting was there were some things going on in my life around that time years ago, and even though I felt like I got everything I wanted, I was going to start a new life in Ohio with siblings that I love, and I was going to and people were enjoying my music, even though I was still growing and learning. So much so that they, like, just this person that I didn't even know very well, and I still don't know them super well, the sibling used, this song that I made in the intro. It was like, wow, any musician knows how big of an honor that is, right? Even though I had all these things, right? And, I had a job lined up in Ohio that was, I believe, better than my job in Connecticut. Like, there was just so much favor. Yahuwah was moving in my life, I believe. Even though all these things were happening, I still let what was happening in my life, like the undesirable things, the things that were making me depressed and sad, overrule all these great things that should have been making me excited and happy and grateful and content, right? And so I remember there was a sibling that was saying, you wanted to move to Ohio. You wanted people to listen to your music. Paraphrasing, it's been years, but they had a great point, and I believe it was from Yahuwah. You wanted people to listen to your music. You wanted to move to Ohio, all these things, and now you're getting all these things, and you're still depressed, and you're still sad. You have to learn to be content, because you'll never be content you'll never be happy if you don't learn to be content now. Even if you get what you want. Even if you get A, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all of that. Even if you get all of it, you won't be happy. You think you will, but you won't. Whether it's a house, whether it's a husband or a wife, whether it's a promotion at work, whether it's a child, whether it's, I don't know, a college degree, whether it's an album. Oh, trust me, I know. Like releasing an album, releasing a movie, releasing this or that, going to travel, like whatever life has, like whatever the vanity under the sun has to offer, you think it's gonna make you happy. It's not. If you haven't learned to be content. If it's losing weight, if it's like getting the body that you wanted, like the form that you wanted from like working out and dieting, it's not gonna make you happy if you haven't learned to be content. Because you're gonna reach that goal, you're gonna get the house, you may get the wife or the husband, depending on what gender you are, right? You might get the job promotion, you might get the job you wanted, you might get the vacation you wanted, you might get whatever you want, the child you want. You know, now the kid cries too much and you can't sleep, you know? It's just like, the job's stressful. Oh, you know, like, this and that. Whatever it may be, you're never gonna be happy if you haven't learned to be content. You can get everything you wanted in life and still not be happy if you haven't mastered being content now, even in the undesirable days. And that's something that I want to learn to do, because like, I'm not always happy. I've struggled with depression for years and I still struggle with it. But I'm learning to actually try my best to be happy and strong and content in the dark days, because then I'm going to be like super happy and dancing around. And people who know me know I be dancing around and being cringe when I'm super happy and hype. And that's why I'm trying to share this, is because like, we have to learn to be content now, in the worst days, in the sucky days, and the gloomy, dark, cloudy, depressing days. If we can be content on these days, if we can be content when we have little to nothing, we will definitely be content when we have much. And I think it's just through Yahuwah and Yahusha we can learn to do that. Because I'm telling you, even if you are rich, I'm not rich, but I imagine it's the same principle with anything. If you have everything you want, rich, you know, family, friends, status, you know, fitness, health, whatever, you will not be happy. There's people who are like billionaires. There are people who are stars, millionaires, actors, all these things that kill themselves because I believe they haven't learned to be content. And obviously they don't have Elohim in their life, so their life is empty anyway. So that's a whole nother thing. But I do also truly believe it goes back to learning to be content wherever you're at. And that's so hard, but I think it's so needed. So I hope that helps somebody. But I'm going to go work out. Shalom.